What's up, friends? It's a windy day. I apologize for the audio, but I wanted to give you guys some tips on skyline shots. Now, out here at the parking deck, we used to do skyline shots all the time, but they're working on some stuff now, so it's kind of off limits. But you can still do a parking deck shot from just off the parking deck. If you set up your camera all the way over here by the curb, and then set yourself or the reporter closer to over here, then you can get pretty much the same effect as you would if you were set up where we used to set up on the parking deck where we used to keep the live truck. So how do we do it? How do we set up the shot? How do we make it look good? Well, if this is your idea of a skyline shot, I hate you. Don't just go all the way wide on your lens and then stand in front of the camera. That's not what you want to do. Let me show you what you do want to do. Make sure your tripod's level. Mine is. And then set your background. What you want the background to be, go ahead and frame that up. So I'm going to get the Bank of America building over here, the Duke Energy building over here, and then if I'm an MMJ, I'll stand right here. If I'm a photographer with a reporter, I'll tell them to stand right there. So now the next step is, I'm going to turn my viewfinder around, and then I'm just going to back up until I'm the correct distance away from the camera and still framed up in the shot. So this would be good. This would be a pretty good composition. Now, if I stand up straight, I cut off my head, so I'm going to have to pan up or make the tripod go up higher to compensate for that. Because ideally, you want kind of the top of my head to be sort of in line with the top of the skyline. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my keys, mark where I'm standing, which I'm doing right now. Then I'm going to go fetch a light stand, and I'll put that where I was standing. Now my head is about this tall, so I can frame up the shot a little bit better because I know what height I need to be at. So now I'm back behind the camera. I'm just going to pan up a little bit and lock it in. Now I need my focus, so I'm going to digitally zoom in and focus on this light. That looks good. And then I'll come back out. Now let me run back over here, see how we're doing. And pretty good. I'd still need to go up a little bit more, but this is pretty good. Now this side of my face is a little dark. It's noon, so the sun is shining over here. If it were 5 p.m., the sun would be shining, the sun would be that way, shining this way, which is perfect for this shot, because we know that the sun sets to the west. We are looking eastward, so the sun is going to be our light. Now at noon, the sun is kind of overhead and kind of to the left side of my face. So I'm going to turn on my light and set it just out of frame to kind of light this side of my face. It looks like I want to iris up a little bit. So I'll do that. It's not going to look great because the city's going to be brighter than I am. So like I said, I wouldn't do this shot at noon, but at 5 o'clock, this would be a pretty good looking shot. Now something you'll notice is when I have the shot framed up like this, you still see part of the parking deck in the shot. So that's not ideal, but it's still an okay looking shot, all things considered. But say I want to frame it up something like this and then stand over here in this part of the frame, how would we do that? Well, we still have some room we can back up over here, so let's do that. I'm going to go all the way back to this curb. In fact, I'm going to go a little bit on the curb and lower these legs, lower my back 2 legs, my tripod a little bit. Then I'm going to level out the tripod head. Then I'm going to frame up my shot like this. See, we get the parking deck out of the shot this way. And I'll flip the viewfinder around. Then I'm just gonna kind of backpedal until I'm in place. So this would be another option. You could frame up a shot like this. And like I said, my face is too dark here. It's an overcast day. We got a tropical storm rolling through. But at 5 o'clock, if the sun were that direction, pointing this direction, I'd be lit great. Or if I wanted to do a shot like this on an overcast day, I'd get some lights and I'd point them this way at me, and I would be well lit. So I'm going to take another look at my viewfinder, my LCD screen, get myself kind of framed up a little bit, and get myself centered the way I want to be. Maybe I'd like to tilt down a little bit, and that way I can, I think, back up a little bit further. Something like this. I'd put a light stand right here. I'd go back behind the camera. I'd focus on the light stand, and I think we'd have a pretty good shot. So give these tips a try and let them know how they work for you. If you have questions, if this didn't make complete sense, shoot me a text or an email and let me know. Here's another tip. If it is a windy day, instead of clipping your, first of all, get the lav up as close as you can, and then something that I do is I clip it in on the inside of the shirt and not the outside. That way the shirt can be kind of a buffer from the wind. So if this video sounds like garbage, you will know that that tip is garbage itself, but that's what I do. So I would flip it around this way, clip it on the inside of this shirt, and it's up high, so it gets my voice a little bit clearer than if it were down further. And since it's inside, it's being sort of protected by the collar of my shirt, and the wind isn't getting to it quite as much. But on a real windy day, you should just use a stick mic. But I'm doing a little tutorial here, so I'm giving myself a pass. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys.